Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Duncan, your host of the TXK State of Mind podcast. Tonight, we're going to have another special episode of our TXK Conversations. Tonight, we're joined by one of the creators of the upcoming Cinco de TXK festival during the weekend of May 5th and a key contributor to the wonderful celebration event we just experienced over this past weekend. Today's guest has been involved in film, music, and event marketing for over 30 years. His accolades includes having worked on the first interactive video game for the National Football League, the first producer in Dallas to win back-to-back Best of Show National Addies, and holds the esteemed honor of being named a Cannes Film Festival finalist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. John Vutek to the TXK State of Mind stage. Welcome, Mr. Vutek.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to have you on this evening. Before we get started, I wanted to give you an opportunity to just introduce yourself and give us a background of who you are and how you came about to be in Texarkana.
How I came to Texarkana is a wild story, but two things. I've been in traditional advertising for most of my life, and growing up as a kid, I grew up in Corpus Christi, which is South Texas. I was a border kid. I tell people, like, pushing this event, I had a tortilla in my hand before I had a piece of bread. Right. I really did. And I love the Hispanic community, which I've been involved with most of my life, especially the core part of my marketing. Like when I was a broadcast producer, I worked with este and Harmel. Max Leffold, who's doing the creative for Cinco de TXK.
Okay.
I did a lot of aviation marketing in Kansas. And then when the collapse of the housing market crash in 2008, all the private plane purchasing just died, and so I had some friends in Dallas. I used to work also at a place called Real Effects Creative Studios. They did Book of Life, Turkeys. They're an animation movie studio, right. And they were in Dallas. And so they're now at Los Angeles and Montreal. Most of animation studios have evolved that way. But where I'm going with this, a splinter group of Real Effects, some really good friends of mine, went to Shreveport and joined Bill Joyce and started an animation studio there. And then that's how I ended up in Texarkana, because I have a really good friend who's an orthopedic surgeon here. And he said, man, I've got a farm. Why don't you just stay out at the farm, see if you like Shreveport before you just commit. And so why not? So I was at Moonbot, and that was really cool. I got to see witness a team of wonderful people win in the same year the Oscar short film and the Apple App of the Year for the same project. An app called The Books of Morris Lesmore.
Okay.
And that kind of fell apart. So for me, and so it was in downtown Texarkana, in this loft right next to City of Texarkana, Texas City Hall.
Okay.
And I just started saying, why don't you try to kind of do your own thing? And I started, doing websites, projects. And 2016, because I was really tired of just traditional advertising and all the bureaucracy that goes with it, the big, right. The big committees that kill ideas, and so I kind of wanted to go Han Solo in a way, and I did, and I stumbled into Railfest 2016, and I met, which is one of the proudest things I've done. We did 2 nights of concerts. We built a stage really the hard way, because it was just ground up, old heated lights, lots of them. Right. Lots of power to light that thing up and get the sound going. We had about 6 bands. The good thing about that, it was one stage, so it was easy to manage. This celebration, my team had not only that, which was 2 stages, they also had events going on in downtown, also the county fair, So we were
A lot
thin.
of events, yeah.
We were thin. We were all worried about the weather, what's going to
Right.
happen, and I mean, where I'm going with this, but celebration takes the cake. Celebration takes the cake as far as the events I've witnessed since 2008. It was fantastic. The diverse crowd. We didn't have one incident. We were worried about having all those people, what's going to happen, and it was smooth. Everybody, and it was such an ethereal moment when it happened.
Right.
I had my camera and I was shooting people looking up, and all of a sudden when that darkness fell, man, it just, and I saw this on the internet, and I talked to about 4 other festival guys yesterday and this morning, and they all said the same thing. People started cheering when it started getting dark, and then everybody got quiet. Right. And just like I did here, and then people were just the mood of the people. I don't know if the eclipse caused that. I don't know. I try to be a deep thinker. Jeremy, what was your thoughts?
Man, I feel like it was like a joining of everybody putting all the differences aside, color, race, the political side, and they just joined together in one like big community event. And it was the same way in Spring Lake Park, because we went to Spring Lake Park to view the eclipse, and it's like we had buses come in from Shreveport with schools that came to the big open area, and just like you said, everybody was excited. Then the partial eclipse starts to happen, and people start to put on their glasses, and gradually, the temperature dropped a little bit, and then people's excitement just rose, and so it was a big experience. So I want to backtrack on like overall the celebration. How did that overall planning process? How was that process to get all of these things, all those moving pieces to work together? Because when you get to that day with the band that was there, with the vendors, the people, no incidents at all, the news people on hand to give an account of everything that was going on. How did you guys pull all that together from day one? When did you actually start planning the event?
Well, I was just one little piece of the puzzle. Right. I really was. I mean, the celebration committee drove the race car. I kind of brought the supply trucks where the band's equipment needed, and I had the good fortune of selecting the bands. Robin Hickerson had a lot of faith in me, and boy, I did not want to let her down. And I got to know Dennis Washington in this process. Right. Branda Part did a great job with her design work. The chamber did a great job. I mean, it really is. I am just one small piece of that fantastic puzzle.
Yeah, an important piece. Yeah.
And I was an assistant director and producer. So event management is a lot like working a film. You just got to get the right, and my dad was a military officer. So he ran our house like the military, and film is really like a military operation. You get the gear in, you get it set up, you get it done, then you get everybody back home. It's kind of the same thing, and right. On a more micro level. But the wild part, how I can tie this into Cinco de TXK, I met a really wonderful girl, Paloma, on this. It's really full of fire. I hadn't spoken to her in about 7 days. Sorry, Paloma, right. But celebration just sucked me in. And I was just telling Dennis, the chamber president, I was just like, man, my event's taking a beating, but I knew I had to be here. Right. And he said, we're going to help you out.
Right.
And Max and I met with Dennis yesterday on one call, and then I'm going to loop the team in tomorrow, which I'm grateful for. And that they were like, what are we doing? He hadn't said, I hadn't said anything in like 4 or 5 days, but right. Celebration was so important. I think it was the biggest capital expenditure that both cities did as a community.
Right.
So here where I go back to Max Leffold is a guy I met 29 years ago. in Dallas. He's from Caracas, Venezuela. He was executive creative director, Leo Burnett, Caracas, Venezuela, I think, at the time. And a friend of mine was shooting a Calvin Klein commercial in Caracas, and the executive producer that was over him took a cab over to Leo Burnett, met Max, and said, "Man, I've got Southwest Airlines, and they want a Hispanic pitch." He went back to Dallas and had one billboard. It said "Mi Amigo," but he's real clever with words. If you've noticed the CD at Cinco de TXK branding, it's bilingual, so you pick your language, Spanish or English, and it's got clever wordplay. And his "Mi Amigo," he had Miami in red, Go in green, so it was Miami Go, and Southwest was announcing its nonstop flights to Miami, and that billboard went all over, and everybody got it, both languages. And our pitch for Max's pitch, let me clarify, but I'm on board with it 1,000%. Is that this is not an event to honor the Mexican community, though it is. But it's more of an opportunity to introduce the Mexican community to everybody else.
Okay.
Since 2016, when I got off of that Railfest project, I started pitching Cinco.
Okay.
And I just kept getting pushback, and just for number one, the Wine Fest is this weekend.
Same weekend, yeah.
Yeah, same weekend, and it's a sacred cow because it does do very well, and it's got a very, very good cause. So, the city's already warned me we cannot,
interfere with that. Yeah.
No, and we don't want to. So this year we're lucky that it fell on. They're on a Saturday, and we're on the following Sunday. So we're not chasing their crowd, and they're not chasing ours.
That's right.
And so that was a big deal. And I've worked both cities on commercials, projects, concerts, and I'm real big on Big T Texarkana, and I fought to keep this project right on state line, same stage, same place as Celebration was.
Okay.
And so it can be a big T Texarkana event instead of like slicing and dicing. Now to add that on to what Max is wanting, he's wanting not let's diversify and silo and celebrate there. Let's all celebrate Cinco de Mayo. All of us together. Let's learn the food. Let's learn the culture. Let's be like Celebration. No racial division. Community.
Right.
Community. Like I saw Monday.
Celebration. Yeah.
I mean, it was like I was watching the dream I'm dreaming on Celebration.
So with that, how has the Mexican American population been receptive to? Are they involved?
Very, very, very. They're so. Number one, I think they were shocked, and
right.
because like in Max's world, he's Dallas based still, but he loves it here. His agency is called Co Jones. 60% of the population of Dallas is Hispanic.
Okay.
And so the buying, and I don't want to misquote this, but I think I've got this right. 74% of our heavy construction workforce is Hispanic now in Texarkana.
Okay.
And 50% of those, 50% of that population is fluent in English. And then you take 25% of that is they're más o menos, a little bit of both. And then you've got hardcore Spanish, which the Hispanic community is not just Mexican, and it's not just one thing. It's
right.
very diverse in itself. And I just think, the Cinco de Mayo, last year they were either going to Hope or Mount Pleasant and taking dollars out of the community.
Right.
And I just want this to be a place where they want to be, where they want to stay, and they want to entertain and have fun.
Yeah, I can attest to the diversity of Hispanic coming because recently we just moved back here from San Antonio. So when I saw the event, I'm like, well, we're not here to experience all the things that go on for a fiesta. So I said, oh, Cinco de TXK, that's like a really neat event that we can kind of integrate in and kind of get involved and experience some of the culture. And so that was one of the big things that I saw. So what are you expecting Cinco de TXK kind of be? Are you looking at to be a one-time thing, or are you looking at to be on something to grow on a bigger scale to something like the fiesta that they host in San Antonio?
Well, Steve Hollibush, who's been a big fan, and Alison Wright, and David Orr, and Keith Beeson, and my music sound partner Perry Styler have all been really focused because I'm kind of a wildcat,
Right?
so they're like David was just telling me, John, just get one done. Just get, as we say in the film, is just get it in the can.
Right.
I mean the film, and just get to rap, whatever that is. Don't worry about trying to make it perfect or huge or whatever. So that took a lot of stress off of me because we've got about 14 food trucks that are all along what David Orr calls the New Boston Corridor, where all the Mexican restaurants are. Right. And Max called it's not Tex-Mex. And this is Max's conversation yesterday to Dennis was this is Mex-Mex. It's not Tex-Mex. The food that's going to be off of these trucks and trailers are going to be Mex-Mex. Gorditas, authentic. Yeah. Sopas, pozole, mole, all of that stuff. And, it's just not going to be a three cheese enchilada plate with chili on top. No offense, because I love that too. I'm not trying to, but we're going for authentic. We're bringing in a heavy hitter DJ. His name is DJ Puma, and he's on a This is what's wild. They have a bilingual radio station now in Dallas. 2 languages, 1 station.
Oh, that's great.
And he's on that station. He's a big deal, and good guy. He speaks Spanish. I've forgotten mine, but I'm catching back up. Just engaging with the community, I'm starting to get some sentences out. And I did a year in Mexico, so I was fluent, and then 6 weeks in Caracas. So back to back a long time ago. So, and then I came out of that fluent, and the Mexican population that I'm engaging with are honored to be asked. Right. And they're honored to participate, and they're excited.
That's great. Yeah, I kind of, my wife, when she worked in San Antonio, part of her territory, she worked down in Brownsville and
okay.
So she would go down there.
You gotta say McAllen. West Laco.
Yeah. So she would talk about how beautiful it was, how green it was there. Because in San Antonio, everything's like brown.
Oh yeah. And see, Corpus was 90 minutes from San Antonio, and my dad was in oil field services, and he had the same territory, Brownsville to Alice, Texas, if you know where that is, and if you do know where that, I feel sorry for you. No, I'm kidding. But that is an armpit of the world, when you're like, please, let's go to Victoria so we can have some fun. But yeah, that was kind of where I was raised, in that heavy, dense. Back then, and that's a long time ago, the Hispanics were very present, and they made a point. They were so proud to be American citizens that they unloaded their English. They unloaded their Spanish, and they made their kids learn English only. So I have a ton of friends that I grew up in the Corpus Christi school system that are first generation Hispanic that can't even speak a lick of Spanish.
Yeah. I know, because one of my favorite shows that I watch on YouTube is Arnie Takes, and so he's a food chef. He does barbecue, different Hispanic dishes, and he always on there doing moles and different things. And he went to, he went down to McAllen and to one of the original restaurants there, and he had to go through the back door. But yeah, it's the culture that not everybody experiences. They just think that it's the enchilada or something like that. But the culture is so rich and diverse that people don't always understand the value of it. So I'm looking forward to how this event is going to bring that in and tie that into the Texarkana culture.
Yeah, and and even with even within the own Latino community, it's diverse. Like in Corpus, at a Mexican restaurant, even at a Tex-Mex Mexican restaurant, growing up, I never saw tortillas and chips at the table. They brought out steaming hot corn tortillas and butter, and man, those were good. And that's what when I was saying, I had a tortilla in my hand before bread. That's what I remember as a little kid, is I could not wait for those corn tortillas and that butter to come to the table.
That's right.
And then chips and hot sauce has now kind of superseded that. But I talked to a lot of Hispanics my age, and they remember what I'm talking about.
Okay. In addition to like the food trucks and the bands, I also noticed that you're going to be having a soccer tournament.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've in Wichita, one of my creative teams and in when I was at DSA Harmel, which is it was the biggest, most successful Hispanic agency a couple of years in a row. I played on their soccer team, but I didn't know anything. They were just trying, I think they just wanted me there to laugh at the gringo, but I saw the street soccer evolve in Wichita, Kansas, and it's 4 or 5 man teams. The games go real fast. It's double elimination, and both public works departments have given me a kind of a thumbs up that I can have that circle around the federal courthouse because it's real small fields, like half a tennis court size, and no timeouts. They're real high scoring, and you can run you don't have to have full 1 hour games to get all the teams through the roster. And so I can turn and burn that, and hopefully that wraps around 11 or. We're still working our schedule out. We're going to finalize that probably Wednesday next week. Okay. But the goal is start with the soccer, wind that down, get into the music and the food, and away we go.
Okay. So for the people that you're trying to draw into this event, what do you want them to know about this weekend, that Sunday, all of the events? What do you want them to know, or what would you say to them to get them to come out and support this venture?
No. Number one, it's free. It is free. The only thing you have to pay for is, and we're not charging food trucks. We're not charging Max, my creative director on this project, and I agree with him fully. He said we had because the way with my relationships, and this is not bragging. I don't mean it that way, but being in advertising, for 30 years, you have relationships with some brands, and Max has got more than I do. And like Wrangler Jeans, Crown Royal, Budweiser. And he just said, John, if we take on one of those sponsorships, and it's true, once they give you that big check, they've got big rules, And so he said, let's let these independent Hispanic businesses do what they want to do and how they want to do it. So let's keep it free, even if it hurts. So it's, the only thing I think you have to buy on the Texas side, if you're a food vendor, is a 3-day permit. And David, I think it's less than $40.
Okay.
So we are not trying to monetize this event. We are trying to get what you want, what you saw in Spring Lake Park is what we want. Gotcha. Free to bring your food as long as you're health inspected. We are having Whiskey River and El Frio are going to provide the alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
And that'll be on the ARC side. And then Pecan Point, he's making his own Mexican beer. So we'll see what that's about. There'll be lots of micheladas, lots of margaritas, lots of cerveza. Yeah, and hopefully fun. Hopefully a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be. I think this is going to be, if people have been to like different things, and if they've gone to Hope and they've gone to Mount Pleasant, or they have matriculated down to San Antonio, hopefully they're going to have something in mind where they can come in and like, this is going to be great. For the vendors, is that already full? Is it closed? Are you still looking?
We'll see how it all fits downstate line. We have some dreams. I really don't, about how that works. So more will be revealed. I don't want to promise anything that Paloma or Max cannot execute. So I got to circle. I've been so immersed into celebration,
right,
and having that and the state fair underneath that, which I didn't really have any involvement in, but just working those stages and those bands and all of that was just a lot, so I just kind of had to walk away for a minute. But thank God for the Chamber of Commerce, because they stepped right up, and so they're helping me organize. And I can't, and both cities, A&P Commission, I cannot thank everybody enough so far, except that hopefully we deliver. But I volunteered everybody for this, whether they liked it or not.
I can tell you,
so the buck kind of stops with me.
Yeah, I can tell you guys are doing a really great job. The chamber, the city leaders, the Beeson, to put life back in not only just the downtown area, but Texarkana as a whole. So with Celebration, I was just excited to see not just the city was doing events, but the local businesses were sponsoring things, and the local bars and the restaurants. It seems like everyone downtown had a rooftop event.
Oh yeah, I mean, like off of Solar, I watched that lady from Australia that came to Texarkana of all places. Right. Wow, how did that Facebook ad to get there? And somebody from Germany was there. I mean, it just kept amazing me. The event and the passion of the people. And you were so right, Jeremy. Everybody was just full of love in that thing. Yeah. And I hope I can come 25% as close as that, and I'll be happy.
I think you will. People were energized. I know we were out at the park. Even the parks crew, they were so excited. They were driving around in their little Kubotas and welcoming people, excited, talking. I think they love to have activity going on in the park system and downtown where they can get out and just show their personality. So I think what you're doing and what the committee is doing for Cinco de TXK, I think that's going to really spur some more life into what we're trying to do with this revitalization of our community.
Well, I'm kind of jealous because I wish I could have seen Spring Lake Park, because Robbie and Keith are so passionate about what they do, and Adam as well, over on the Arkansas side. But it's just good to know that, and that's the other thing that we're trying to do as we as big Texarkana is that we're not just a one thing to do, one destination. We can have more than one event at the same time. We can, if we've got an 8-screen movie theater, why can't we do 8 things all around town?
That's right.
Yeah. And so hopefully, and since 2008, being where I'm in the same loft, the change of, especially the last 2 years, has been immense. And we're still finding our way,
right?
Stage wise, event wise, and there's a lot of naysayers, but we are growing inch by inch. We are we learn from what we do wrong, and we correct, and we're just getting better. And I'm speaking for everybody. So when you commit in and throw down, and like my friends and the people I work with and for, I'm honored to be here.
Well, I tell you, whenever you have naysayers, that means you're doing something right. You're going in the right direction. You're going in the right direction. There's always going to be someone saying those armchair quarterbacks. I think the guy from TXK FY, he was talking about how he saw some comments, but if you're not in the game, you not got some skin in the game to try to make it better, just sit over there, and when you're ready, we'll welcome you on in. So, but I think you guys you're on the right path. You know, I've been excited here. Me and my wife, we moved back, so we've attended the 150 celebration. I think the thing that they did downtown with the ice skating, that was top notch, and it just trickled. It's been rolling ever since. So.
Yeah, and the Juneteenth was fabulous. You know, Perry and I did the sound for it, and this little side note on that. Big Rob, did you? I don't know if you went to that.
Yeah.
But Big Rob asked me and Perry to go on the road and finish his tour, and I was like, "Let's go!" And he goes, "John," we can't. We got a job. We have a job. You know. So, but just the fact that he asked us, I was doing somersaults all the way home.
It's a testament to all the good work you're doing. So I know we're coming to a close, but if you want to add anything else about this that coming up.
Well, it's Cinco de TXK is what we're calling it,
right?
Instead of Cinco de Mayo, and the website is cincodemayo.txk.com. There's the forms to fill out for food, crafts, soccer are there, and you're going to hear a lot more in the next 3 weeks, all the way to Field Walsh is helping me with TXK today. I couldn't believe with the deal he gave us, and I'm honored for that. And AMI Radio is throwing in, and so I'm just you hope for these things, but when they really deliver it, it really humbles you. You know, it really does. The people care.
Well, John, I love your energy. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And so anything that y'all have coming up, posting your videos, I'm going to make sure we reshare that on all of our platforms through Twitter, X, Threads, and through our Instagram accounts and TikTok, so we can kind of help you bring the people out, get people involved, get people excited about it. I think this can be something that can spur Texarkana on through years to come. So I really appreciate you for coming on. And allowing us
I'm honored. Thank you for having me, and I think you're running a really good show, and I'll be rooting for this thing because we need it, and for what you're doing. And
yes, sir.
Tell the scholars I'm going to come knocking on the door.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love those ladies.
Yes, sir. Everybody, again, we're going to be running this again later on this week. We're going to run it again close to the time that Cinco de Texarkana is coming through that week of. So get involved, get out, take some days off if you have annual leave. Come on out and celebrate. This is a wonderful period of time for Texarkana. We're in a rebirth, a revitalization of our community. So this is one piece of it. So as I always say, TXK, what's your state of mind?
Peace.